What's up guys, your boy CJ here, back with you in a video. I hope you guys are doing well and doing well myself. Stay safe out there, keep your social distancing. Anyway, so today's video, as you can see from the title, it's to how to use green screen, or more like how to edit green screen, because well, the appropriate term for it is it's actually called chroma key, but green screen is more of a normal term for everybody else. But still, for those that doesn't know what a green screen is basically making the effects on a solid color. For example, these are mostly used for visual effects, whereby you have a solid color, mostly bright green at your background, so that you can overlap with another image on behind, or it can be image or video, whatever you want. It's for those that you can't make it. It's actually used for a lot of purposes. It's not just for I'm giving you an example right now. So for example, you want to take a video of yourself at Mount Everest, but you don't want to climb Mount Everest. So you take a green screen, you wear the proper attire, then you make a green screen production out of it, which is kind of ridiculous, because if you want to climb Mount Everest, might as well try it out, since, you know, why not? Anyway, so I'm lost for words. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, you know what? Let's get into it. Huh? I already uploaded it up. Let's get into it. Alright, guys. So I already reloaded up Premiere Pro here. I already reloaded a couple of footage. First things first, you have to see my friend Adam here. You might recognize him from the last video. I used him. So another one will be me with a picture of a green screen on my laptop. So essentially, we're going to be replacing these two green screens. Special case with Adam's, whereby sometimes you guys don't have enough. You have maybe furniture around here and you have a lot of green screens. This is gonna pose a problem which we are gonna tackle today. And I'm gonna clean, I'm not sure if that's the dirt on his wall or it's on my screen, but still, we're gonna tackle this first. First things first, go to the effects panel on the bottom left, then you're gonna type in key. Now key is essentially keying. The proper term for green screen is chroma key. We're gonna select Ultra key, drag Ultra key onto the footage that you want to green screen for. Now, for instance, I want to green screen this footage. I'm gonna drag it on this particular footage, not my background footage. Remember that. That's very important. Now, next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go up to the effects control panel. I'm gonna click on the key color, and there's a dropper on there. You already have the Ultra key effects here. Just close the rest, because you're not gonna need them right now. You can adjust them later on. Now, we're going to click on the key color, then we're going to click on the eyedropper tool. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just click on the background. Now, as you can see, there's still the excess green here because the color was not consistent. We're going to tackle that in a bit, but essentially it already got rid of my background. If you guys have a full green screen and you guys just want to have, you know, fast green screen done, you can just exit this video. This is it. There's not, the others will be just cleaning up, making it more full. And if you guys want to know how to clean up footage, make it more cleaner, make your green screen footage look more nicer, please stay still. Please stay tuned. Whereas the others, if you just want to clean green screen, you're gonna be done. You're done at this part. So if you're still here, thank you for your support, and we're gonna get into it. Now, as you can see, this footage is not perfect. As you can see, my friend here has a has a white ring around his shoulder, and you can see the background is not very clean. The proper effect should be this clean, but what we got is misty because of the uneven lighting in the background. This is why in most sets you'll see their green screen super bright lit. They lit it super bright so that it's easier for the visual effects artists to deal with, or the editor themselves. So yeah, now we're gonna go down to your Ultra key. Now, as you can see here, there's a multiple panel here. You have your color correction, matte suppression, and you have your matte generation. I'm gonna open it up, and my laptop is a bit lagging right now. Sorry. I'm gonna open up matte generation. Matte generation is a cleanup tool for your Ultra key. Now, you have first things first, your composite. your transparency. But before we start it, if you guys are familiar with Photoshop and you guys like to do it in alpha channel, you can definitely do it. Just go up to your output, click on the composite. It will display as composite at first. Click on the composite, then you're gonna have alpha channel or you have color channel. It depends on you. Normally, I would recommend you guys to edit it in alpha channel because essentially you can see that what is not being replaced, and the white spots are essentially the ones that are not being replaced. And yeah, I'm gonna reset my transparency. So transparency, basically, you can see here my friend just turned really dark, and if I go back to composite, you can see him become ghosted. So I'm just gonna reset that. I'm not gonna touch that at all. Then we have highlight. So highlight is essentially, most of the time, is from lighting problems, which is your background most of the time. I normally don't like to edit in alpha channel. I like it, but I always like to eyeball things. So composite just works just fine for me. I'm just gonna go drag it down to 0. Then we have shadows, really straightforward, just the shadow part. So if you have a lot of shadows and you want to get rid of that, you can do it. But in this case, if I drag it anymore, it would just get rid of my friend all entirely. So yeah, stay tuned to get rid of this. We're gonna get rid of it in a bit. Next, we have tolerance. Tolerance is basically what's getting knocked out, basically around the edges here. Now, you can play around with the slider. You can go up and go down. You'll see what's getting knocked down, what's getting not. In this case, I want to knock out that green and the side. I'm just gonna drag it out a little bit higher. Yeah, but that's one of the method if you have slightly small of it. Next, we have pedestal. Pedestal is not doing much for a lot of people most of the time, but in our case, there's a lot of highlights, a lot of light bleeding, and we're just gonna do raise it up. And we have our friend here a little bit more cleaner. The edges are there. Now, do keep in mind, edges will always be there just because it's essentially a borderline, if you will, for the program to understand which is the borderline, and white will be there. Next, we have the matte cleanup. Matte cleanup, I always categorize this as the cleaning up your matte generation. So your matte generation is your cleanup of your ultra key, and your matte cleanup is the cleanup of your cleanup. So yeah, that's amazing tool, by the way. So, but first things first, let's save this thing. Always save it. Now I'm gonna close out the matte generation. First things first, we have choke. Choke is essentially cleaning up and the fringes, the edges. It's basically for cleaning up. And if you see here, if I drag it higher up a bit, the edges around the white borderline, it will reduce it. At the same time, it will make it will stretch your friend a little, your subject a little bit smaller. Which in this case, if I put it on 0, my friend's like that. If I drag it up, the edges will be smaller, and my friend will look a little bit more smaller, which I might like him that way. Now, contrast. Contrast is basically to sharpen your images. Don't mess around with it if you're gonna color grade, because it will affect a little bit, not too much. Then we have midpoint. Very straightforward midpoint. Yeah. At this point, I pretty much got rid of this thing. Unfortunately, they're still there, and I don't like it. And before we got to that, there's also spill suppression. Now, spill suppression is basically what's spilling out, what's excess. Sometimes you have it on your skin, on your hair, that little bit of green color there. You can use the spill suppression to deal with it. You can either, desaturate it, if you will. In this case, I will a little bit. Then you have your range, which is what is reflected on. Normally, I just think of this, always play around with all these things to make it, more perfect, if you will. Then we have spill. Now, spill is basically what is excess. You have to, in our case, there's a little bit of excess, and you really have to play around with sliders to know what your footage really needs and what it doesn't really need. And in this case, we're pretty much done. But it could be a lot more better, and we still have this part here to deal with. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drop in another ultra key. So we have a second ultra key. I'm gonna close out the first one. Now I'm gonna basically tackle on this color. Now what that's gonna do is gonna make a bit of a problem. You're gonna accidentally take out your subject. So if the excess only one part of your image, just use masking. What is masking? It's a very powerful tool. Gonna have a tutorial coming up. But essentially what you're gonna do, go up here, there's a small pen tool here, like from the 1980s. Alright, this case I always gonna put my footage at 25%. this alright. So I'm gonna create a small border, if you will. There we go. So what this is gonna do, all I'm gonna do is just edit this part of the image and not this part. This is really useful because, you know, it's really useful. Basically, you really want to have to learn to use that if you want to master editing, essentially. But yeah, I'm just gonna go back to fit because I can't really see, and essentially mess around with all these things, and I almost got rid of it. There's a small portion here that is still excess because of the drapes that is not green in color. It's actually because of the background lighting, but I'm trying to get rid of it, and it's pretty much got rid of. Yeah, it's pretty much done at this point. It really doesn't need much. If it's just a black patch and it's not any other color, you don't have to worry about it. Just deal with using your shadows, it will be fine. Otherwise, just another alter key, another masking, it will be fine. So yeah, pretty nice footage overall. It's pretty clean. It could be better, but technically it's pretty much done at this point. I would recommend you guys to use an adjustment layer just because, you know, you don't want to mess anything too much with your footage. Otherwise, later on, if you have a big project, you're gonna have a headache. Next, we have me on my laptop with a green screen. So same thing, drag the Alt key down to the footage I want to edit with, which is my footage. If I close my footage, it will be that footage. I already resized this footage down to the size of a laptop for, you know, to speed things up. So first things first, I'm gonna click on the eyedropper tool. Same thing. Then what's gonna happen is it's almost clean. There are some excess which is on my skin, on my face, which is a bit greenish, if you will. It's not exactly reflected on this color, on my fingers as well. Sometimes on your laptop is a lighter color. This is what's gonna happen as well. But I'm gonna continue on. I'm already talking for 10 minutes. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Oh, all right. So same thing, mess around with your sliders. It will get it better. And as you can see on my footage, there's a bit of a white spill here. I'm gonna deal with that by dealing with the shadows. Oh, oof, oof. You can see if I drag out the shadows, this is what's gonna happen. If I drag it down a little bit too much, you really have to find an even point for everything. The tolerance, if you will. I like the tolerance a little higher. Remember, editing is really personal preferences. I may like it, you know, a little bit darker, a little bit more sharper overall, or you might, for you guys, you might want to have it, I don't know, a little bit more obvious that you're using green screen. I don't know why you want to do that, but yeah, essentially this is it. The biggest problem you have is basically on your face, because the green is really obvious. This is where spill suppression comes in. You can either desaturate your footage, which is I'm gonna do a little bit, the 2 excess there, and I have to play around with the ranges. Ooh, too much. All right. Ooh. All right. So yeah, it's pretty clean at this point. If you guys want to have it a little bit more cleaner, masking is always an option. I always recommend people to mask your footage just to make it a little more better. But essentially, it's a semi-perfect footage. I would tilt this image a little bit forward just to slant, make it a little bit more obvious. But then again, I'm not gonna do that for the sake of this tutorial. You guys enjoy it, so yeah. But yeah. I hope you guys like this video. Do drop a thumbs up and do comment on what can I improve. I know I stutter a lot and I have pronunciation problems. I've been trying to work on it. I'm really sorry, but then again, it's me. Anyway, it's your boy CJ. Do like and subscribe, hit on the notification button, and I'll see you guys next video. See ya.